Okay, to install the axles to the machine, first match the axle R for right, and then the R crank, the right crank. So remove the nut from the shaft. Alright, don't mix up the nut with the other one because they're threaded differently. So set the nut down and thread the shaft, and it's gonna you're gonna thread it that way, away from you. Okay. Thread it in by hand as far as it'll go. Alright, so once it gets hard to turn by hand, turn to the tools if you have to get it to go in. Right there. Tighten it up with a tool. And put the nut on. With the 19mm wrench. Once you start getting into the nylon of the nut, you're going to have to put one tool on the post here to hold it, and then use your other hand to tighten the nut while keeping the shaft from moving. Alright, so with the nut tightened down, you may notice that there's a slight gap on one side, but that's okay because it's tightened up and it's butting up against the crank there. And now we're going to go to the left side crank. Remove the nut from the post. Have to use a tool to get that off. Okay, I got the nut off. And then once again, you're going to thread it into the crank. Then you're going to turn it away from you. This one's counterclockwise. Turn it all the way by hand, so you need to use the wrench. Okay, there might be some paint inside the thread, making it a little tight, so you have to go to use a wrench. And then you have that blue glue there that's going to make it a little bit tight, but that keeps the crank, the post here, from backing out on its own. Alright, now that the shaft's on, we're going to put the nut on. And the nut threads this way, counterclockwise. I'm going to use the tools to put it on. Alright, I'm going to show you how it looks when tightening this up. So I'm going to put the tool on the post to keep it from turning, and I'm going to put pressure this way to rotate it forward, and then this tool I'm going to turn it towards me, and you see that if I don't hold the tool with my left, it's gonna tightening up the nut with my right hand is gonna try to make that shaft rotate. So I must hold it in place so it doesn't do that. And that's how you put the post on.